G'day everyone, Alex McKellar here once again for a new season of Top Split Racing's race replays. We're here, of course, for the first round of Season 4 2022 at Tsukuba this week. Coming off the back of arguably our most successful season, certainly in terms of achieving goals and whatnot. We're back for another tilt. This season we're taking a different approach, just going to get out there, have some racing, have some fun, and maybe put up some more videos this season with a view to just sharing the good ones, the fun ones, stuff with good content in terms of the racing, and we're basically just fun. This one was my third race of the week. Day one of the season. Already done 4 races actually now. Anyway, this was a 2900, just under 3k strength of field. Tim Hendrickson for Team Torpedo put it on pole, not surprisingly really. Tim's been off and on in the skips for a while. He seems to be racing a bit more at the moment, which is good, and as he's coming back up to speed, he's really lightning fast. So I was actually expecting him to drive away. Dimitri Philippides, regular in the skips and SNL, got it on the front row next to Tim, just ahead of myself in third. I was 3/10 off Tim in quali at that stage. I don't know if it still is the case or if it'll hold for the rest of the week. Tim's time there was the best quali time by some margin from memory. And Dimitri's done pretty well actually to stick it, under 2/10 behind, and I'm 3 and a bit tenths there myself. Kuroda-san, who I've raced with a fair bit, particularly on a Monday night in goals practice sessions, joins me on the second row. Greg Adams, one of the clowns that we like to race with, Team Clowns. He started third. He was in Discord with me at the time. Other than that, I didn't really know many folks. I expected those guys that I just mentioned to be in the race with us. Perhaps Tim in a race of his own, without wanting to give him too big a head. He is probably the class in that field in terms of pace. And of course, just over the page, the other driver in the field, the great Ken Hyams himself, one of the stalwarts of the skippy community, in there every day, every week, and out there for a good time. All right. So 23 laps. Let's grab the cockpit view, chuck up the race stuff, and get back into it as we talk about the racing here at Tsukuba, which was a lot of fun. So, speaking of the race, here's immediately I thought Dimitri was going to come over and leave the door open actually, because I was actually worried starting in the odd numbered positions, which of course obviously includes pole position. You sort of you're on the wrong side of the track, you're on the outside to turn 1, so the guys in the even numbers tend to have a good shot. So I was actually more worried about Kuroda-san coming through potentially, depending on what sort of start that he got. Of course, we're doing the moto layout here for those who are unfamiliar with that little chicane that we went through. Adds a unique bit of what would you call it, a unique section to the race. I was really glad we didn't do the shorter version, which comes out just at those hay bales on the right there. Maybe okay for the V's. I know they do it in the rookies, but I don't think so even for these low powered machines. But yeah, so I thought Dimitri was going to leave the door open, which would have surprised me. And for me, I was going to go up the inside if I could, mainly to defend from Kuroda-san behind more than anything. But if he was going to leave the door open, I was going to go, because this is a tremendously difficult passing track. And you can see already 7/10. Oh, and I got caught out there by Dimitri's braking. It was just different to mine. It sort of started getting me thinking, maybe there's half a chance there if I can get the run out of turn 1, or maybe it was just a one-off. But the other thing that had me worried was Dimitri's had a bit of latency, which just only enough to make me sort of not 100% confident where his car was. He wasn't jumping around or bouncing around like you sometimes see, but it was just enough to have me thinking. You can see already we're at the end of lap 2, and at this point Hendrickson's almost gone. He was 7/10 by the back straight on the first lap, which speaks to the technical skill that he had here, because Dimitri's no slouch. Anyway, as expected, Tim was driving off, and I think it might have even been this lap or the next one where we said, see you later, Tim. Enjoy your race. But my focus this race really, it was three things. Firstly, I wanted to get past Dimitri if I could, and that was to sort of supplement or feed into the other goal, which was to hang on to Tim as long as we could. Neither of those goals achieved early on, and with Tim gone, barring incident, we weren't going to catch him. He had, as we saw in quali, I think 3/10 is fairly representative on a hot lap of how much faster Tim was, if not lap on lap, at least in a hot lap. But I'd suggest to you at least 2/10 lap in, lap out, if not 3. So now that goal's gone, we're back to the first goal, which was to try and get past Dimitri, which, can I say, is quite a fun challenge here. It is a challenge. It can be frustrating. It can lead you to making mistakes and whatnot by pushing the point, but it's a fun challenge. So that was the goal there, and we're really aiming for P2 at this point, even so early on, as the middle stage is a lap 4. And the other thing was to keep Kuroda behind us, Kuroda-san. So we're aiming for P2 now that Tim's gone, barring incident. So we're going to get past Dimitri and keep Kuroda-san behind us. So that means now, with 19 laps to go when we cross the line this time round, that we've got to manufacture something, you know, barring mistake. And Dimitri's a very consistent driver. He's got good pace, but he doesn't, I haven't seen him make a lot of mistakes. So I knew I'd have to try and force a mistake, you know, get him running different lines, or just trying to be big in his mirrors. And it's interesting, on the replay here, it doesn't show, but because of that, what I think was that latency, it really looked like I was braking a lot later and maybe a bit better into the hairpin at turn 4, that second hairpin in the middle of the track. Should come into turn 9 this time round, and that got me thinking whether I could go up the inside there. I think obviously the hairpins here are the opportunities to overtake, but ultimately they really are reliant on the kind of exits that you're getting from the preceding corners. And so for me, I was looking to prioritise corner exits where possible. What I was finding difficult behind Dimitri was to sort of time the acceleration to get those exits. So it closed up a bit under braking, and I felt that I was pretty close here, 2/10 down. Showed the nose. Oh, that was a very clumsy, messy, and poor attempt. Very poor attempt. So that's lap 6, is it? Or I'll have a look at that after the race. And I'll be honest with you, I'm just grateful that Dimitri's as good a driver as he is, because, you know, any number of drivers wouldn't have seen that terrible attempt at overtaking. And we would have had an accident. That's absolutely down to Dimitri's driving ability, that we didn't have an accident there, not mine. It was a terrible attempt. I hadn't earned the pass, and yeah, not how I like to race, if I'm honest. So yeah, that's a lesson learnt for me. And you see I dropped back a bit, just trying to gather my thoughts. I had a few apologies over the radio, and like I said, very lucky that Dimitri saw it coming, was able and had the skill to react to it. Otherwise we'd probably both be in the pits. So I'm starting to collect my thoughts back together, thinking about, all right, I actually ruled that corner out for this race, at least, if not for the week. I ruled that corner out as a passing opportunity for me. At least, you know, I mean, I'll have a look at the replay, but from memory, I was a fair way back too. It's not like you were side by side going into it. So as we get our mind back into the race, got to close back up and then think about other opportunities. So the real passing opportunities here, the biggest one's going to be in turn one, but you've got to earn that. You've got to set it up, and you've got to be obviously a lot closer than I was. Very wide corner entry, very wide through the corner, plenty of room to go too wide in these cars, and that means you've got to think about how you're going to approach that. So again, as I often say, very good to practice multiple lines here. There's no, even through this corner here at turn 4, there's multiple lines. I mean, not based on the clumsy attempt that I made or the shocking attempt that I made, but you can run the outside line there, you can run the inside line there, you can sort of break straighter on the outside of the corner, turn in later, use the camber, similar to this corner here at turn 9, and take multiple lines in to focus on exit or prioritize entry. If you turn in earlier and break in a straight line, but more with the car more angled towards the apex, all these different things I was starting to think about, but I recommend you practice those in practice sessions, preferably with a friend. You can work on those lines. I know that's something that Vasco and I did last season at a few of the tracks, and it was really helpful when it came time to race. You knew what the car felt like in different positions, in different contexts, particularly with people around your skill level. So you know that's typically where you find yourself in a race, and it's good to know the limits there and what you can and can't do. So yeah, here what are we now? About 3 laps later, I'm starting to think about, you know, we've almost dropped Kuroda-san. So I was actually sitting in behind, and that's part of my strategy here. If we could drop Kuroda-san and make it a 2-horse race, then I was happy to sit here for quite a number more laps. Same as at the start of the race, I wouldn't have made any attacking maneuvers on Dimitri if we were sitting in Tim's draft until much later in the race. So I was hoping we could drop Kuroda, but he braked quite well into turn 1. You can see he picked up about a 10th there in the braking zone at turn 1. So, you know, at some point, if we're not going to drop him, I've got to shift my mind towards attacking Dimitri, because it's very difficult to pass here. And Dimitri's already shown that he's very consistent. He's not making mistakes. And as we saw from my very clumsy attempt earlier, he's smart enough and can make allowances and what have you. Not that I want to put him in that position again, obviously, but so far he's defending really well. Well, he hasn't really had to defend yet, to be honest. I haven't had a legitimate chance, so with Kuroda-san about a second behind us, and it's kind of not looking like we're dropping him too much. We're going to have to start thinking about, oh, there it is, start making moves. Just show the nose. You can see too wide, easily done there. And Dimitri gets the better drive, as is quite often the case around the outside, at least equivalent drive, but what it does give him is the inside to turn 4. So the outside of turn 1 gives you the inside to turn 4, and then you can run wide, and you got the inside now to turn 5, 6, this unique moto chicane, or chicane in the moto layout. So interesting, you got to set the moves up here, because yeah, as you can see, immediately Dimitri's defense was good pace and good car positioning. So, you know, to get the opportunity to overtake, you've really got to set up from a long way back, and you can see through here at the final corner at turn 10, you're trying to get the run, and straight away, interesting, straight away I made one. As soon as I made a move the previous lap and Dimitri was able to defend it, prior to that you'll notice he never defended turn 1, and straight away the next lap he started defending turn 1. He understood that that shift in the race and the nature of it, we'd stop trying to drop Kuroda-san, and we were trying to work on that overtake in the second half of the race. Because it's, you know, whilst there's still, what's that, 12 laps, including this one to go, or 11 laps, whatever it is, it can be that hard to get a pass done. So, and therefore, Dimitri doesn't want to give it up because he knows if I get past him, he's got to try and get past me again. It could take just as long. So we're really trying to set up. My expectation is turn one's the best opportunity, and Dimitri straight away pulls to the inside. Trying to break deeper in here. I'm giving Dimitri plenty of room, and he's just able to track out. Haven't quite got that outside run nailed yet. I'm gonna have to work on that, because I think you can break a lot deeper, because the apex of the corner when you're leaving space is, you know, a car width and a half wider. You've got more track distance to cover, but you can break so much deeper that you can get further into the corner and compensate a little bit in that early phase of the corner and potentially get the better drive out. Although there's, you can see here, there's good camber in the hairpins with the exception of turn one. It's pretty flat. So I reckon if there was more camber in turn one, it would be a much better passing opportunity around the outside. Because like I said, you then get the inside run into the next hairpin at turn four. So it's a very interesting track from that perspective, where you've got to think multiple corners ahead, and immediately the fence is on Dimitri's mind. I'm trying to break deep, but see, I'm not close enough there to make it stick either. I'm still, you know, probably a car length behind coming out of the final corner of turn 10. Dimitri again cuts towards the apex. There's no inside run there. Whether he was nervous from my attempt before, or just he's got the defensive walls up. He's doing a very good job so far of defending. Not surprising given his skill level, but still working hard. I'm trying to focus on the exit there out of turn 9, and Dimitri's first time ever he's defended on the inside of the final corner. Comes back out, I show the nose, try and get him to think that we're coming up the inside. I'm trying to disrupt his lines. As you see, he takes a nice late apex and gets the better drive out. If I can keep him a car width off that, again I'm pulling behind, if I can get him car width off, this time I try and keep him a bit tighter. It's still not close enough and not deep enough into turn one. Got to get the balance right between braking deeply and not overshooting the corner. Yeah, if I can get him off his line through the final corner and get a run, that'll really aid in that attempt to get, essentially, you're trying to get the overtake done at turn one, but it's probably not done until you got the inside at turn 4. Which, as we've said, unless you get a really good run on the inside, which is Dimitri's doing with the advantage of him having a car length into the braking zone at 1. Unless you get that drive on the inside, guy on the outside's got the real potential to have an equivalent drive, if not better, around the outside of turn 1 on exit to give him the inside into turn 4. So a lot to think about. A lot going on in between the ears here. How do I set this up? How do I get the run? You see, he's realised that I'm a bit too far behind, so takes a natural racing line there. And you can see none of it, never said a word other than apologising on the radio for my dumb move on lap 6. Never said a word during the race, but you can just see, and I say it all the time, non-verbal communication. Dimitri did not defend a corner until I made a move on lap, I don't know, 11 or 10 or something. And after that though, the conversation changed, and immediately where he's positioning his car is telling me, you know, what he's doing and how he's doing it, and he's doing a great job of defending. And now we're on lap 16. Again, I'm not really getting a strong enough drive out of turn 9 to put him under threat into turn 10 and ultimately turn 1 the next lap. I've got a good run. I've got a good carry good momentum through there, and actually I think I had to brake. Yeah, look, I did a little bit of brake there. Just because I don't know whether I had a better run or something like that. Much deeper on the brakes this time, much closer. But I'm just not confident in the line that I'm taking there. I need to do more practice around the outside there, because I'm just making so many adjustments in the line there that I'm not able to get on the power early enough to maximize the drive on exit and maybe get the inside into turn 4. Yeah, I'm just not getting the drive out of the final corner though either. It's not setting up. I really, as you know, as good as Dimitri's positioning of his car is, I'm not getting the run out of these hairpins, which I was trying to get to be in a position to force him to take different disrupted lines or anything that might really actually give me a chance to overtake. You see, I'm pretty close. That's the closest I've been. I thought I was almost going to get some overlap as I open up the corner. Try and carry more speed through. A bit further along again, but no, and he's... Oh, that was the closest we've got to the point where Dimitri tracking out. I sort of backed out a little bit. Now I'm trying different things here at the hairpin. Can I come over under? Can I get the drive there through the later apex, earlier commitment to throttle, but not early enough. As you can see, I didn't really gain much at all, if anything. And again, it doesn't really show here. It's not a criticism of me though. The latency there was just putting doubt in my mind as to where the actual position of Dimitri's car, and of course I don't want to hit him, but it was causing me to be a little bit late on the gas too, I think. So again, decent drive out of the last of the hairpins at turn 9. I'm gonna try and come underneath, but again, I could commit to the gas earlier there and it would have been okay. But I'm not close enough to Dimitri. I thought I might be close enough, but I wasn't, so I open up the corner a bit again. And again, I'm trying to get the exit right, and you see that was a much better exit. But I wasn't going to try the inside as Dimitri covers it anyway. Smart boy. Again, I'm trying to just be so big in his mirrors. Try and find something. Pressure him into making some kind of mistake. Meanwhile, Kuroda-san's quietly in the background. Dimitri, for the first time, defends into turn 9. I go deep and try and focus on a big exit because I know his exit's going to be compromised. Straight away, he's over to the right. Look at the better drive that I've got this time, though. Hold him a bit tight. Hold him tight. Hold him tight. Compromise his entrance. Open out the corner before the end. Go deep around the outside of the final corner. Get on the gas earlier this time. I've got the clear call. Bang. Straight over to the inside. Defend into turn 1. On the inside line for the first time in forever. Can we hold it? Job done. There you go. Interesting. All based on, interestingly enough, the first time Dimitri had defended into turn 9. So what lap was that? Lap 19. 19 laps in. We'll have a look at that overtake again. Dimitri defended the inside into this upcoming corner into turn 9 for the first time. That compromised his exit, but set me up. So all of that possibly from the drive out of the chicane, sowing doubt into Dimitri's mind that I might have a look into turn 9, which is a legit passing opportunity. Compromised his exit, gave me the run into the final corner, enough to go around the outside of the final corner because of his compromised entry. Amazing to think 3-4 corners in advance is how far you have to be at a 10 corner track to really set up an overtake in a very evenly matched race. Well, it's evenly matched with us. You can see our shilly-shallying and battle and stuff. You know, Tim's off 11.5 seconds at 3/10 a lap. Even let's assume he's 3/10 a lap quicker, as I think I pick up a 1x there. He might be 6 seconds, but the battling that we've been doing is giving him the other 5 or 6 to go with it. Tim definitely had the pace, obviously, but I said to him after the race, but I reckon our race was more enjoyable. It was certainly a lot of fun. So we've got 2 laps to go when we cross the line, and my job here is really focusing on defending. Now, I haven't had to take a defensive line yet because Dimitri hasn't quite been close enough. You can see he's 3 tenths, 2.5 tenths on exit, and there's no real strong draft enough to put him in a position to overtake if our exits are equivalent. I did wonder, despite qualifying, if I just had a smidge of pace, just a smidge if anything, and that's all you'll get here when the competition's this close, just enough to give me confidence that if I nailed the corner exits, I'd be safe into the overtaking zones, which of course are the first gear hairpins. So again, at 3.5 tenths, so we're still okay. I need to defend here, and I saw how costly it was to Dimitri too in that defense, although that wasn't my best exit. And you can see he got an equivalent exit and is immediately on the march forward, albeit not as quick as you might think. So again, I can take the standard line, and this is where he needs to be really close because this is his last chance into turn 1 as we take the white flag. And see he's 2 tenths. I think about taking defensive line, but again, he wasn't close enough. So I opened back out just to take the corner so as I could reduce the threat into turn 4 by getting the best exit I could. Cut towards the apex. None of this break straight on the outside and turn in late, leave the door wide open. Rather do what Dimitri showed as a good strategy, which is break in a straight line but break with the car angled more towards the apex. One corner to defend now really, and Dimitri's a bit further back at 4.5 tenths. So now just get a good exit, focus on that last corner. And here we go, half a second behind. I'm feeling, I haven't come over the radio to say good race yet, but I was thinking we were pretty close as Tim crosses the line. Miles ahead. And there we go. P2 in a very enjoyable hard fought race with Dimitri. Haven't raced that closely with Dimitri before. It was everything that I was hoping it would be, everything that I expected in that yeah, it was a really good race. And really showed the character and what can be done in this kind of race. It was very, very good. This sort of circuit, I should say, or at this circuit. So why don't we just quickly, before we dive into some of the, oops, wrong one. Before we dive into the analysis, a couple of those key moments. Hendrickson out by miles for Team Torpedo. I managed to get P2 in what was a really fantastic opening week race with Dimitri. Like I said, shows a good character of this track in good company. Kuroda-san was able to hang on as well. He's got good pace, just not quite able to get in amongst it, or whether he was nervous about it or not, I don't know. But yeah, he did a good job there in P4. Our clown friend, Greg Adams, unfortunately had a bumpy ride and then his PC shut down, power outage in the middle of it, which was a real shame and costly way for him to start his season. And the great Ken Himes up into P8 from 13th. So good effort from Kenneth Car 11 as well to pick his way through and get it done. All right, so let's jump back to lap 6, I think it was. Lap 6. Okay, let's do that. So this is the move, the ill-fated move on Dimitri from memory. So got a reasonably equivalent drive. So what happens here? Yeah, look, I'm nowhere, and look, there is a car width there, but you can see the angle of his car towards the apex means that gap's going to close. And my move here is either he opens the wheel or we both crash, which is not how I like to race. This was a deliberate attempt, but clearly in hindsight, I'm way too far back. Looking at that, right? Way too far back. That's well over a car length. And as we progress through, you can see he's already committed to his turn in line and I'm still braking fairly hard at that point. Let's actually turn the things up so you can see my inputs. You can see I'm braking really hard there. And turning. See, full brake to the point of that's going to have wheels locked up. And I've got steering input on it. It's not going to turn. So it's just going to be ploughing at that point. So yeah, really clumsy. And in fact, I turned my brake bias down a click this week just to get some rotation into the corners. And what'll happen as a result is the rear will let go here. As I sort of come off the brake. Yeah, it's just clumsy. Just terrible. The rear lets go at a pretty poor stage. And again, just so lucky that Dimitri, at least one of us, was in control going into that corner. Sorry again, Dimitri. And well done for surviving that. More down to you than to me, obviously. Yeah, that's not one you want to do at home, folks. Like, that line is okay, but you want to be side by side. Like, that's just a bonehead move. All right, let's move on. That was bonehead move. Let's find the one that actually worked. All right, so this is the one that worked. All right, so we'll start the previous lap. And we'll get to the point where it all took place. So you can see Dimitri's been defending. He's been defending well. The key, see that line he takes there? You can see he's either learned from my bonehead move before, but you can see there's no gap there this time, right? There's no way I can get there. So what I'm doing is taking a wider line in to try and maximize my exit speed. Take a much later apex, although I didn't really trouble the apex on that one. And then here, very interestingly, I didn't think my run was that much better through there. Maybe yeah, look, see how his outside wheel is on the grass there? That little bit of wheel spin that he will have got there, I'm wondering if that's sowed doubt into his mind, because you will get wheel spin if you put your outside right there on the actual ripple strip. But if you are careful with how you place your car and make sure your steering wheel's straight, you can get away with it without wheel spin. But 100%, if you look at Dimitri's car there, interesting to think that potentially that is the moment that cost him the position. As we'll follow it through. So he's taken a defensive line, right? So what that's going to do is compromise him on what is probably the longest straight on the circuit into the next two corners, which are passing opportunities. So I go deep around the outside, but then came back. I was trying to come underneath, didn't quite execute too well, but again, Dimitri takes a defensive line. I'm going to hold him close and then swing out. So he's not able to, as you can see, he doesn't come out and open up the corner too much, which really compromises his entry into what is a very fast corner. As we proceed through, I'm able to go deeper. I've practiced going a bit deeper into the corner as well. I'm trying to find the fastest line through there, but I have been practicing deeper and then coming back to a later apex. And what that's enabled me to do is leave that car width on the inside. See, there's never the space, doesn't quite ever disappear, but I've got a better drive on exit. And as soon as I'm clear, bang, straight over into defense mode. So amazing to think that all started by the exit of the previous chicane, the chicane in the center of the circuit, and Dimitri just getting that little bit of wheel spin, sowing enough doubt in his mind that it left the door open. Fantastic. Very, very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. Very, very enjoyable. Now, while that's going in the background, let's take a look at a couple of things for this season. So I'm not doing the whole points thing this time round. I'm just leaving that alone. But let's have a look at the race results anyway, just to see what things look like. So as I said, 2900 strength of field. I got 14 I rating out of that. You can see Tim Hendrickson's lap is crazy fast. I think that's the first 102 in a race this week. And that's unassisted, undrafted. Fantastic effort. You can see I can only manage a 3-2, as did Dimitri. Ken Kuroda-san behind had a 3-1. So I was trying to think of some season goals. I'm going to keep a little spreadsheet. My favorite website tool, iPitting, hasn't seemed to run for the past couple of seasons. Otherwise I'd be doing that. So I'm trying to think of the different things that goals I was trying to set for myself this season. I'm thinking of maybe trying to get to 7k I rating, see what I can do about that. So that's that little table on the right there. But I'm just going to keep track of all the races and how we go over the season and see if we can't hit the 7k. Not off to a bad start. We've done 4 races so far and we're up 75 for the week. So that'll be a little interesting thing throughout the season to keep track of, if we can hit it or not. I'm not too fussed either way. I just really want to have some good racing. But if I hit 7k, that'd be great. And it doesn't hurt ever to have some goals, right? But listen, we'll see how it goes this season. All right, that's race 1 run and done. We'll see if there's any more during the week. Certainly planning to race some more, that's for sure. Check us out on Top Split YouTube, where you found this and all the other Top Split racing and all the SNL stuff as well. We're coming up to season 29, if you can believe it, which you can check out on Top Split TV each Sunday night, 9:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Time, GMT plus 10 at the moment is the go. Best Skippy racing you will find anywhere. And the Discord community is where you'll find all the SNL action, of course. And all the latest stuff there, results, conversations, that sort of stuff about Sunday Night Lights. And just check us out on Twitter, where we'll post when we're going live. Although I forgot to do that for this one. I actually streamed this race, did I? No, I streamed a couple yesterday anyway. But I'm planning to do that a bit more, of course, over there at Top Split TV. All right, folks. Thank you very much for joining us for the opening week of the season. Look forward to having many more good races like this one and hopefully sharing a few with you as well. But until next time, I'll say thank you for joining and ciao for now.